Welcome back, boys, girls, and maybe George Foreman grills. I don't know. Anyhow, today's winter project is getting another snowmobile because I have no self-control and too much money. That's the big problem. It's no self-control and an absorbent amount of spare cash to do stupid stuff with. So we are going to Waiawega, Wisconsin, which is like 2 or 3 hours south of me, and we're going to go pick up a snowmobile. And it's going to be a secret, not really a big secret. You guys will see it in like, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds thanks to the power of, oh, come on, little S10. You got it. Two-wheel drive only, so usually the last getting out of my driveway or getting off my road can be a little bit of a challenge, but yeah. Anyways, you guys will see it here in a minute. It's a sweet little rig, I'll tell you what. It was one of those deals you couldn't pass up. It ain't got no spark, it don't run, all the good stuff. I mean, typical used snowmobile, so we'll live with that though, and we'll fix her up. But yeah, stay tuned here for a minute, and I'll show you what I bought. Alrighty, there it is. This is what we picked up. 1987 Arctic Cat Pantera. And man, she's in good shape for the age. And just look at that. She's got all the original barn dust on her still. And now some road salt because she's riding in the back of the truck. But yeah, this thing's in really good shape. And the seat's in really good shape. Yeah. Look at that. VIN and everything down there. Look at these floor wells. That is really, really clean for what this is. All the graphics are pretty clean. I mean, there's a couple dings on the stickers and whatnot. You know, it ain't perfect, but I bet you what, this thing will clean up real, real nice. Alright, we're back, and it's a new day. Unloaded, and yeah, getting to actually look at this thing up nice and close. Wow. So, there's a few mouse houses we're going to have to evict down in here. You know, all the good stuff. But, what a clean unit overall. I mean, just, man. Like, look at that. The boots on the suspension here, those are still intact. Usually those are all rotted away. The only real thing that I did have to fix, and I fixed last night, was this tension cable for the hood. The old one right there is broken off. So, yeah, there's some other things probably, but overall, just, wow, this thing is in such good freaking shape. I mean, it was drained of all the fluids. I had to. I couldn't leave myself alone. We're going to do a little bit of diagnostics. So, currently, as you can tell, I'm going to try and pull this over. There's no spark. Ooh, excuse me, a little cold out. So there's some basic diagnostics. These older Arctic Cats are fairly easy. They get a little bit different depending on the year you get into. These, I believe what they are called is a, closed loop system. Basically means you have to keep everything closed, right? So every time this switches up, like your kill switch, when you push that down, it breaks the circuit, kills the motor. Key switch off, breaks it, breaks the circuit, kills the motor, right? Kills spark. So the test that I know how to do is right here. I've already started on it last night. I have this jumper, I don't even know what this thing is. Actually, I should double check if there's a fuse in here. I would think so. But anyways, you take this 4-pin plug off here and you jump the 2 brown wires, right? Your 2 yellow wires are your stator. You need to jump the 2 brown ones, and you need to see if you jump those 2 and you get spark, then you know one of the switches is bad, the throttle's bad. There's a couple different things it could be, and that eliminates this half of the sled, which is what we're looking to do. So give me a second. Let me make sure this is out, and we'll make sure there's no spark. Okay. First things first. I didn't even check this. I started this last night, and then it got dark and cold, and I said, screw that. Yeah, so there's a fuse in there, so that should be good. These 2 ends I'm just clamped together, make it complete. You know, I don't know why I have spark plugs in here. I should just... Actually, I should... I'm going to leave them in. That way we don't get any dirt or ingress or anything. But... Okay, pretty easy. Didn't see any spark there. So we know pretty much right away, nothing from the handle, nothing from the engine back is causing us any problems. So there could be a couple more things going on here. Yeah. These CDI boxes, there's a couple coils right here. It could be the coil itself up in here. So luckily, I happen to have the owner's manual I found online, and I think that's probably where we're going to start. Because we're going to get this no spark condition figured out, and then the rest of this is all really just cleanup and new fuel lines and a couple other things. But yeah, I would say first things first. Let me open up the manual and we'll do some diagnosticating. Singular black wire. Let me move you guys just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. And then our triple plug here for, yeah, all those look good. They're not crazy corroded. So we need to test, I'm going to have to pull up the manual here one more time. So, it's like X0, the black and red lead and the red and white, which would be black and red, red and white, these 2 right here, and we are looking for 17 ohms. Okay, that's in spec. Red and white to the black and white, and it should be 160. So that's these 2 on the bottom here. That's about right, 146. We can be plus or minus 20%, so that's good there. And for the lighting coil, which was what I was on, my bad. The lighting coil is these 2, which, man, these things are hard to see up in here. Let me move some spark plugs and shit out of the way. Anyways, that's these 2 yellow ones right here. And that's our lighting coil, and those should be 0.22, which I think we were at, let's see here. .5, which again within spec, so that's all good there. So let's test the ignition coil. So spark plug cap from the high tensile wire. So we can test the primary, which is, let's see here, we can, let's see, we should be able to plug that back up in there. Plug this guy back in too. And that should be this guy. This old radiator hose here really makes this thing a bear to work on. Come on. Come on out of there. Come on out of there. There we go. So we want to check this 2-prong wire here on the primary. Which, let's see here, primary coil, what do we got here? Primary coil specs should be, for this one, going to be 0.22 ohms. That might be just a hair high. That's 0.6. But, alright, that's in spec. So, now, we need to do the secondary. And we need to basically jump across the spark plug coil gap here. So, and that should be like 6,300 ohms or something ridiculous like that. We'll see here. What are we at? Ooh, 15,000. Kind of high. I'm thinking we might have a bad coil. Which, if we have a bad coil, no big deal. We'll get a new one, and we'll go from there. I also might just order a CDI box if it's cheap enough, because everything else seems to be within spec. So, we'll end up doing that. Alright, so, quick testing here. A little bit more quick testing, I should say. Let me clamp you gently to the radiator, and I will show you what I found. So, I was like, man, this thing's too clean for stuff to be wrong, really. Not that that's impossible, right? Obviously, we can see there's a little bit of rodent damage, or not rodent damage, rodent intrusion. But I'm like, man, this thing should fire right off. I just couldn't figure out what I would call it, right? And so I measured across. The test for the primary ignition coil, or secondary, I'm sorry, is to measure across the boots, which would be these guys. You just stick your meter leads in and you measure across, and you're supposed to read 6,000 ohms. And they don't look bad, right? Like, these things look pretty good. So I didn't think much of it, but I just, something in the inkling in my head was like, you know what? I should take these off and test the wire itself. To which I did. I pulled the wire off, and needless to say, it tests good. Actually, you know what? Here, we're smarter than this. You guys aren't going to be able to see if I do that. Darkness here. Probably not a ton, honestly, but because I got windows. Oh, this is hard to do one-handed, but there we go. Yep. Kind of tough to see, but needless to say, there is now spark. So, I'm turning the lights back on so I can see what I'm doing. These boots are bad. These are the problem. These are why we're not getting spark to the sparkulators. So, needless to say, and actually I bet, if I were to test this across, I'm very curious. If I go from one end here, yeah, almost 5,000 ohms of resistance. That will stop the spark, or really, really dampen it to the point where it ain't even going to run. So, I think I know what must be done. I'm probably just going to order a new ignition coil, if I'm being honest with myself, because it'll come with new boots, new wires, all the fun stuff. But that tells me exactly what I needed to know. Oh, there she goes. Okay. Well, let's see here. Either way, we know that it does pop off. So we'll get a primary ordered and call it a day. Alright, so There's not much more I can do to this thing today, just because I don't have a coil, and it'd take a little bit to get from the internet. But I really want to shine this thing up. I'm excited. I'm going to do like half and half so you guys can see like a before and after, because I think that would be kind of cool. So I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse, and we're going to clean this thing and polish it just a little bit. See if we can make her look nice and minty. Alrighty, I got my half done. Look at this. You could see there's 10 years of fine barn dust on the one side. I'm going to walk you around here. Look at that. It's 10 years of the finest dust. And it ain't perfect by any means. There's still scratches and stuff in the stickers, but look at that. And that isn't even like totally polished. Like I didn't use a buffing wheel or anything. This is just all by hand. Look at that. It's like a brand new sled. 1987, fresh out, baby. That's such a clean unit. Man, what a good find. Anyways, stick around. I'll probably do a part 2 at some point or another when parts come in. And we'll probably take a buffing wheel and actually buff this way better. But get this thing riding, running, and ready to hit the trails. Anyways, thanks for sticking around, guys. Later.